today's talk. Oh, today's talk. I love it. I love it. I love it. So how to rewire your results. Why did I even come up with this? Well, because I'm combining both what's going on. We're in a pandemic right now. Things are shifting. People are shifting. The way they're thinking is shifting. We're all being asked, guess what? We got to be flexible. We got to lighten up of, we're not going to get our exact way. It just came last 2 days ago. I went down for my daughter's graduation. She didn't walk because her roommate, her sister, was confirmed with COVID. So she took the responsible way and said, no, I'm not going to walk. And yes, she was very, very emotional that she didn't get to, but you know, she can do it again in the spring. But we have to open to being more flexible. And in that process, I am going to just discuss the importance for each of us, each one of us, that it's our responsibility to keep our health at its optimum so that our immune system is up as best possible for you. Absolutely key. So that's D3. That's the airborne is a really good one that combines with vitamin C. And that might be additional things that you know work for you, whether that's electrolytes or B vitamins, B12, but know that you are being called to do it. The next thing I realized that each of us is key with our immune system, right back to our thoughts, which we already know. And so that's why I'm going to bring in today about neuroplasticity, rewiring, but not just for our health, in our business, in our health, in every area. We're going to work on expansion today. And the other one I'm going to talk about is who, not how, which is from strategic. This strategic coach is an entrepreneurial program that I'm now in. And so I'm going to get to share that with each of you so you get the bonus of that. So with this, what I want to go through with each of you is just to different ways that we can rewire our results, because I saw some huge changes in the last week when I went down to Fort Collins about the graduation. So rewiring, neuroplasticity, sounds like a pretty advanced word, neuroplasticity. Think of Play-Doh, plasticity. So make it easy, neuroplasticity. Plasticity just means it can change, you know, it's like Play-Doh. So if you think that your nerves and how they're wired and how you communicate is pliable, we can take that to our analogy in science of mind with the fact that things start in the invisible and then they become visible. They start in not in form and then go to form. So what do I mean by that? When you work with neuroplasticity with Dr. Joe Dispenza, I'm reading this book, Becoming Supernatural. Love his title, absolutely. Definitely a heady, intellectual, scientific book. Lots of facts, love it, got some great meat in it, and highly recommend it. But his like short is very strong to what we do in Science of Mind. How I think, how I act, how I feel. So these are what's creating our ripple into our field, which then radiates out. So obviously we all have self-destructive behaviors, and to rewire those, we have to first get clear on what are those behaviors, and it usually shows up in results. So often we think, oh my gosh, look at what just happened in this result. But if we go back in and we start to do the rewiring. So when you do neuroplasticity, first off, because of doing the program that I decided to do with the strategic coach with Dan Sullivan, they talk about several things in that. And one of the things that they're really strong in that program is this idea of how you have to shift your perception. So with Joe Dispenza, when he's talking about rewiring, when you want to rewire, this is not a pedantic stand here. I'm amazing. I've got lots of clients. Everything's happening. No, that's great. However, if you do it with movement, hey, wow, I really feel this. So you're like living it. You're acting it out, but there needs to be an element of movement. And I know I've shared this before, that if you move in a figure 8, it will start to rewire how you feel about yourself. So I've been doing this in a fitness class, a one-on-one private, I have a trainer, and he has me speak while I'm trying to get up into, like, they have these different exercises. The teasers one where you got to bring your legs up. It's kind of like a clam. It's very challenging. So if you're like, focus, focus, up, higher, yes, reach, higher. So you're speaking it and you're rewiring while you're in a movement. What that does is that imprints something new into your nerves. And that's what neuroplasticity is re-imprinting. So I want to leave you with that point number one about how to change your results is you have to change what you are imprinting. Second thing, who, not how. So this is a book, Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. It's actually Dr. Benjamin Hardy wrote it and Dan put his name on it. So this is an example of a who, not how. Dan does not write his books. He gets a who to write his books for him. So what does that mean to you? Well, I'll give you an excellent example. When I was in Fort Collins, because of being in the strategic coach plan, you like write out your 25 years, you write out your 3 years. Like, I mean, they really have you writing out a lot of stuff. And one of those exercises, the 25-year, the 3-year, you look at everything when you're an entrepreneur in 90-day blocks, quarters, January to March, April to June, July to September, October to December. So that's just how the business world is in quarters, 90-day systems. So when you actually focus on the fact of 25 years, that means that there are 100 90-day periods. So really, when you clean up and you work on 90 days, your brain goes, oh, that's only 1% of my 25-year goal. You don't have any stress. You only think abundantly about time. So it takes a lot of pressure off you. So by doing that, I wrote out my 90 days, and then you had to add what are the 5 multipliers. So this is like great meat. This is stuff that I paid quite a bit of money for in this program that you guys are getting. So 5 multipliers you write down that you're going to do in the next 90 days that are going to magnify your business. So one of mine was I wrote out that I was going to look into this concept called barndominiums, barndos. So my son had me look up a video on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love these barndos. So all it really means is that the trusses, the roofs, are made out of metal, and that the walls can or cannot be made out of wood or metal, doesn't matter. And they often have a style that might have components of rusted look and then something really polished and refined, but you're combining the kind of an old and a new look to, and it's what's vogue right now, you know, the gray tones, the white tones. So with me being in this business, I love to keep current. Well, my daughter, not my son, who told me to look it up, it made me get like, the building prices right now, you may or may not know, have actually gone up in the last 6 weeks. 6 weeks. The prices have gone up, and over the last 9 months, they've gone up 2.5 times. So if you bought trusses for $6,000, they're now they're actually right around $16,000 to have the same product created because of COVID, because you can't have people work too close together. So what it's asking is we've all got to think out of the box. We've all got to stretch. We've got to think of different ways to still build and bring something in that makes sense. So here I am in Fort Collins for the graduation, not even thinking about it. I have my cute little write out of everything I'm going to do with an impact filter. You can look it up. It's free online. Dan Sullivan said he does put that out. Impact filter is how you take an idea and write down how you're going to do it and what are the roadblocks with it. So I have all this on the barn dough. I get there, not even going for anything to do with business. My daughter says, Mom, you need to drive down the street. So after I do all my stuff up in that area, I drive down the street and I drive into this subdivision. And the whole thing is barn doors, except it's the outward design, but not the metal structural framing or the trusses. So that's fine. It was still the outward look that I was looking for. And there were 15 examples. I was like, oh my gosh, I just wrote this out in the last 10 days. And now God has given me a sign. I'm totally on track. So the key with when you do neuroplasticity and you get out of thinking that there's something competitive out there, which there's nothing competitive. There's us being a representation of God, and look for the whole premise behind this who, not how, is who can I call that could assist me in bringing this idea that's come through me out into form? How can I collaborate? Right here, we're collaborating. We're helping lift each other up. We're collaborators. We are the who's for each other. Without you being here, why would I be standing here doing this? So we're all who's. And if you think outside of the box of not trying to do every task and think of the who you can bring in to help you bring it into form, it will make your life so much easier. So I've already left messages for a couple of builders. They're going to call me back. And so, you know, they don't build in this area, but that doesn't matter to me because I just want to get a square footage cost. So it took me to my next step. So think about who, not how, and what that is calling on you to do to bring into form and experience, who you can collaborate and bring your next expression. So that's another way to rewire to create a new result. The next one that I realized is we have to really listen to what the divine is saying. We all know that. We go into meditation. It's that fire in the belly Ernest Holmes talks about. It's going into a quiet state to get the download. And that's where I got, you know, Harrison pointed me in a direction. Then the key is this. We write down the idea. Why do we write it down? Because that's what neuroplasticity is. We're taking it from an idea, we're putting it into the first level of form, and the second level of form is we start looking for our next sign. My sign was, hey, guess what? Drive through this neighborhood. My husband and I were just blown away. We like drove in. It was like our 3-year goal had manifested in front of us. I was just like, wow, God, that was incredible that somebody's already done this. And here it is right in front of me, an exact live replica. Not the same interiorly, like in the walls underneath the drywall, which nobody would even know. And actually, steel is better than wood. Anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But know that you will be guided to that next step. The fourth aspect that I want to share around rewiring your results to bring in what you want to bring into form and experience is this idea of faith. Faith is about, everything in life is about faith, that you don't give up, that you just keep coming from that place of strength and paying attention to the signs and looking for, with a conscious attention toward what is yours to do. And with faith, each of us here, we're serving. We're here for others. We're not just here for ourselves. We're thinking collaboratively. So let's take that into our business from a place of faith that we wouldn't have got the download in the first place unless it was ours to do. That's the key. It is ours to do. And now with COVID, what I realized is we got to be moldable. We got to be flexible. We got to go with the flow. And we have to use our compassion where I have set this new system up. And my new system for rewiring my results, I'm going to go through the 4 things we covered. So the one is we got to keep our immune system strong because we're no good to anybody if we're down. Okay, so we got to rewire whatever it takes. If that means we got to get out and walk, then get out and walk. If that means you got to not eat that extra cookie or sugar, then don't eat the extra cookie or sugar. Know that your immune system's way more important and you don't want to be the one that you can't function where you're at optimum health. And you have to have the faith that you believe, the faith that God is guiding, protecting you around your health and vitality and well-being. And what I am going to say with this is I'm going to start setting a timer. Last night I couldn't even go to sleep because there was so much buzz around COVID and fear. And when I was in the city, I'm going to set a timer, and every single day I'm going to pray at that same time for everybody that we conquer this whole thing and this thing around COVID, that we just all put out in prayer. Power of prayer, all of us. So I'm going to invite you, each of you, to set a timer and do it every single day until that's part of your new imprint for rewiring, that you are taking care of you and everybody around you and your families, because it's affecting all of us. The other one is number 2, which is be gracious and flexible, because guess what? Plans are going to change. You're not going to be able to go somewhere. You're not going to be able to connect with people. So be flexible and go with the flow, because going with the flow from a place of faith means that there's something bigger than any of us even knows going on here. The third one is the keep in the who. And we already know in Science of Mind not to do the how. That's God's job. So this just makes it even stamped louder. Don't think about how you're going to get more clients. That's God's. Who could you collaborate? Who has already done this before? Who, what different techniques have they done? Work with that. Who, not how. Collaborate into your, it might turn into your idea was this little, the whole thing in the strategic coach is your idea starts off and maybe you can get it 75% to what it could grow to. You collaborate. Next thing you know, it goes out 3 times, 10 times. That's how you do a magnification, is you collaborate. And then the idea is bigger than you, and it is the divine expression of each one correlating and connecting and collaborating. And the fourth one is so key, is keeping your faith strong by practice, by prayer every single day, no matter what, that you are in prayer for yourself and that you're moving, you're imprinting, and you're actually keeping with this idea and concept of rewiring as number one, strong, healthy. You're moving forward, you're expanding, you're listening to your ideas from God, you're getting them down in paper, and then you're following through. So that is what I wanted to speak on today. And I want to end by doing a spiritual mind treatment where we actually imprint those 4 ideas. So I'm going to invite you, which is a little different. I don't even care if all you do is move your hands around, or you move your head around, or maybe you do it down below the screen, that's fine. But do some sort of movement as I say this spiritual mind treatment, please. I just breathe in knowing that God is present right here. I know that that infinite power is breathing. It is alive. It is in each and every person. It is the immune system. It is the faith. It is the vitality. It is the lightness. It is the ease. It is the flow of God. I claim that power, knowing that it is part of my fullest expression. I claim it for each and every one here, that that power moves and imprints, rewires through the mind, through the body, through every activity, whether that activity is business, personal, or connection, that each one feels the compassion, connection, and the collaboration of each one is an expression of God. I see that each one here unites in prayer and makes a commitment to pray every single day that God is the power and the presence. And that right here, right now, I see wholeness, health, and vitality, and financially, with clients, with ease, and with health. I root that, and I see each one rise to their fullest expression. And with that, I give thanks and I release this. And so it is. To everyone there, everyone here, thank you.